Lenong is a tarred but difficult pass located within the boundaries of the Marakele National Park near Tabazimbi. This very narrow road clings precariously to the side of a mountain with extreme unprotected drop-offs, and if you suffer from acrophobia, then this pass is definitely not for you. If you do make it to the summit, the wonderful scenic vistas over the reserve and the Waterberg Massif from the various viewpoints make all the effort worthwhile. A 4x4 is not required, but you will need to negotiate some gravel roads as part of the access route. To drive the pass, you'll need to enter the Marakele Park itself. A daily conservation fee will be levied unless you're a wildcard holder. Accommodation, ranging from camping to luxurious lodges, is available within the reserve and in the immediate vicinity. You can also access the park as a day visitor. Please note that no private open vehicles, motorcycles or quad bikes are allowed. We have filmed the pass in both directions, but we've described the pass in the ascending mode, which is the direction that first-time users will have to drive it, as it is an out-and-back route. The pass begins at a low point where the road crosses a small stream surrounded by lush vegetation. The brooding cliffs of the mountain which you're about to climb loom menacingly above you on the right-hand side. The road first climbs briefly, then dips down again to cross another small stream before the real ascent begins. The gradient increases dramatically as the road begins to wind its way up the mountainside, following a natural contour line. Height is gained very quickly, as you'll realize if you look over towards the sharp drop-off on the left. At various points along this section, sturdy fencing has been erected on the right-hand side to catch rocks and boulders falling from the cliffs. That this is successful cannot be disputed, as is evidenced by the rocks straining against the wire, but this fencing is only sparsely located, so be on a continuous lookout for new rockfalls on the road. The road itself is very narrow, just wide enough for the passage of one vehicle. Every so often there's a small lay-by located along the route, and take careful note of these in case you need to reverse back down to get past descending vehicles. The general rule of thumb is that ascending vehicles have right-of-way, but not everybody knows this, and on this particular pass, it's probably better that the vehicle closest to the nearest lay-by gives way. If you do decide to stop anywhere along this section, make sure that your vehicle will not impede other road users. About halfway up the mountainside, you'll come across a cattle grid embedded in the road. This is probably to stop animals from wandering up onto the plateau above you, although it's slightly incongruous in this setting. Trees cling to the cliffs all along this section, but the vegetation begins to thin out considerably as you gain altitude. Steep cuttings, which must have presented a serious engineering and labor challenge, are constructed here as well, evidence of the determination to build this road, which would have started off as an access route to the telecom towers located at the summit. The views to the left of the road towards the top of this climb are quite awe-inspiring, but at the same time are a little disconcerting, especially if you have a vivid imagination. Drive slowly and carefully and pay attention at all times. The road continually changes direction, presenting a number of blind corners, so be aware of the ever-present possibility of oncoming traffic. Also be very careful if you need to pull over on the drop side to let another vehicle past. It would probably be better to stop and get out of your vehicle to inspect the verge if you need to do this. At the 2.1 kilometer mark, the road tops out up onto the plateau and curves through a sharp right-hand hairpin bend to change your heading from directly north into the south. The scenery changes dramatically, with open flattish plains dotted with the protea bushes, mainly sakebos. At least 4 different protea species have been identified in this area, and at the right time of the year, these will be festooned with their colorful pink flowers. Cabbage trees, locally known as kippersol, which thrive at this altitude zone between 1800 and 2100 meters, also appear growing sporadically across the landscape. The gradient decreases significantly, especially at first, so you can now relax a little that the difficult part of the climb is over. The road is still narrow, but getting past another vehicle is a lot easier with the flatter terrain. The route undulates across the plateau towards the telecom towers, clearly visible on the skyline ahead of you. Be sure to watch parts 2 and 3 of the Lenong Pass.